Hello everybody, welcome back to another Manage training session. Today we're going to be running through how you can find and review the tenant ledger in the system, how we can find and review the pay in report for the tenant in the system, what the difference is between the two separate documents and the separate reports, but also how they can correlate within each other. Now, with our system here at Manage, it is a non-trust account. So the tenants here, when they are provided the bank account details for their Manage profile, they essentially fund this thing called a tenant wallet. And how to find what a tenant wallet is or where the tenant's wallet is by selecting the tenant profile. And it's the first thing right up the top that you can see. Now, in standard trust accounting and property management softwares, everyone should know what a tenant ledger is. And a tenant ledger is essentially all of the rent and bill items that have been made and paid by the tenant, with a due date, with the payment period, when it was due, and then when payment was received. It also includes additional information like if there is part payments or any credits that the tenant has as well. Now, the tenant pay in report is specific to Manage because of this tenant wallet. And how I best describe what a tenant wallet is kind of like a holding period of funds before it is allocated to rent or bill items. And the wallet is awesome because it is self-funded, but the tenant manages this wallet, meaning that at any point in time, say for example, they paid a lump sum of money, like $10,000 to their tenant wallet from their bank account, the system isn't going to take the $10,000 and straight away apply it to rent and bills. It's only going to take the rent amount based on a frequency and the due date as well as the amount as well. So I could pay $10,000 as a tenant, and 2 weeks later I realized, oh my God, I have a car bill that is $5,000. And I jump into my tenant profile. I see that a week or two rent has been taken. I've got a little bit of money left over. I could refund that money back to myself and pay that car bill. So the thing about this wallet is specific to tenants. They have complete management of their tenancy wallet. They fund it. They can refund money back to themselves. Now, a tenant ledger, like I said before, shows all of the payments that have been made to rent or bill items. So to find a tenant ledger in the Managed app, all you need to do is jump on the property profile, select the lease tab, and then you download the tenant ledger. As you can see here, just an example of a tenant ledger gives me a little bit of a breakdown of the property details, tenant details, and lease details. Starting below, it's going to show me all of the payments that have been made to rent items or bill items in the system since the tenant has been activated. So I can see here, it's got the different headings of what the payments have been made, what due date or period it covers, when it's been paid, payment method, the amount paid, and if by any reason GST, it will have GST. If I scroll all the way down the bottom, it gives me an indication of the total amount of money that has been paid to rent and bill items for this tenant. Now, the pay in report is specifically regarding the amount of money and at what days and times and separate individual items of how much money they have paid to their tenant wallet. So as you would have seen with the tenant ledger, there has only been $18,000 of payments made to this owner specifically for rent and bill items by the tenant. But in their tenant wallet, they have a lot of money, $9 million to be exact. The pay in report, like I said, gives an indication of how much money the tenant has paid to that wallet, at what date and what time, and the method of payment as well, whether it was a BPay or a direct deposit as well. As you can see here, it shows that the tenant has only made a one-off payment of $10 million into the system. And like we saw before, out of that $10 million that has been made into the system, there is currently a balance. And with that balance, there is X amount of money. And if I was to deduct this from the ledger, or if I deduct, $10 million from the ledger and what the tenant has paid, there should be the balance of $9 million there. So that's just a little bit of an indication of the two separate reports. To find a tenant's pay-in report, you just go to their tenant profile and it's under the heading tenant pay-in report. A tenant can also log in to their tenancy profile and get a copy of their ledger, so they don't have to wait for the property manager to send the copy of the ledger. They can also see when the payments have been made into their wallet, out if they've made any refunds as well. It also appears on the tenants' profiles if they have refunded money back to their bank account with the price that was refunded, the date and the time as well. So how they sort of interlink, like I said before, is you take what has been paid into the system via the pay-in report, and then you compare that to the ledger, and there should always be a rough balance of the money left over sitting in the wallet too.